Hello, good morning, everyone. Welcome. My name is Teresa. I am your host this morning. Thank you for tuning in. It is a beautiful day. We did have a full moon, which is here present. Tonight, I would recommend that you go outside before um, you go to bed, admire the moon. It's very powerful. Um, Take a deep breath, release anything that doesn't belong to you and doesn't serve you, and just utilize the elements. I hope that you are all well and staying healthy. I ask the Creator to continue to protect you and your families in these challenging times. Please continue to keep your distance and wear your masks when you're out in the world. Take care of yourselves, take care of your familia and those that are around you. Remember to drop a comment. Let me know that you are tuned in. Feel free to ask questions and participate in today's plática. It is an honor and a privilege to have Tina Marie Mejia joined me this morning. A little bit of our background and connection has been through danza. And so we've shared steps together, we've shared songs together, we've prayed together, and just seeing her on her journey, which is a journey that I actually got to experience through her art of photography, and very connected and powerful. And so I want to invite and have Tina Marie Mejia join us.
Thank you.
Buenos dias.
Buenos dias.
How?
Blessings. Good morning.
Thank, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm
Good.
not usually a morning person. This is like so early, but I love I couldn't sleep last night how excited I've been. Honestly. Yeah.
Good. And so this is just a way for us to connect with the world. You
Yeah.
know, we're in challenging times. It's different.
Yeah.
So it's just another way to communicate, you know, and share kind of our perspective on life and things that we're doing to kind of give love and energy and that positive vibe to gente. So, what are some of the things that you're doing right now to keep that, you know, positive vibe, that motivation to have? I know sometimes because um, we've been told to like shelter in place and, you know, stay in your home. What are some of the things that that you're doing that are kind of getting you through the day, or just to keep that like animo, that movement to keep going forward?
Yeah. I think what you just said there, moving, just moving, movement, a lot of I love being outdoors. I mean, you'll be able to tell by my photography. I enjoy being outdoors. It's my medicina, as we would say.
Right.
Um, I have a dog now, so I take her. I have to take her on a walk every day.
What's her name?
Her name's Fresa.
Fresa.
Yes, she's an Australian Shepherd. She's 10 months, so she has a lot of energy. She's a herding dog, so a lot of energy. So I have to, at least be out for like an hour and a half in the morning, taking her, making sure she's like exerted some energy, and yeah. But so yeah, outdoors is my medicina. I try to be outdoors every day, even in the rain, in the snow. I mean, it's so crucial for me to be outdoors, because if I stay, I'm not an inside person, and if I stay inside the house for too long, I'll drive myself crazy, my partner crazy. I'll just drive everyone crazy. So it's outside. I need movement. I need to be outdoors, exploring, getting some fresh air as much as possible, and that's one of my main things to stay sane.
Good.
Um, Also, like making sure like I'm taking care of myself, like what I eat, and what I eat is very important. I like to cook. I've been cooking. I'm not the best cook, but I've been trying to cook for myself, and making conscious decision to like watch what I eat, you
And
know.
it's so important to do
Yeah,
that.
yes, and for a long time, like I wasn't as conscious as I am now about what I put in my body.
Hmm.
And so I've been practicing because it takes a lot of practice. It's so convenient to go out and eat, and
Oh,
we have,
absolutely.
we have the luxury to have so many. I mean, great food out here. I love Indian food. I love Mexican food. I love Thai food. So, I mean, it's so convenient to go out and eat. And sometimes time, you don't have the time. But
Right.
now with COVID, we all have a little bit more time, right? We all have a little bit more time. So I've been making time to feed myself, feed my soul, and make sure it's good. It's the right nutritious things that my body needs.
Yes.
I would say that's like numero dos.
Hmm.
And number three is, I guess, just like listening to my body and like what it needs. And some days it needs like a good bath. Some days it just needs like, oh, moisturizing my hair
Hmm.
and making sure like my face is good, like, just like
Things
self.
that make you feel good. Yes.
Exactly. Those are
And
so important.
I think of the bath and the full moon. And so I think this is a perfect time, for those that are listening out there, when we say, what is what do you do to kind of get going in the morning? And sometimes is, like you said, taking that shower, taking a bath. I always remind people that if you're going to do like a cleansing, like bath ceremony, or like even perfect time, especially with the full moon being present, um, making sure that you shower before and then you enjoy your bath, and it'll be relaxing and soothing. So it's very important to, have that self-love, and knowing what makes you feel good. And so it's good that, even when you say, you moisturize yourself, and um, some people are like to feel, to even put like lotion or creams, or some people like putting oils. And so there's different ways of, having that feeling, that uplifting feeling and sensation. So that's very important. And where is, and this is a question like for you and Fresa,
Yeah.
because Fresa's always traveling with you. So where's the farthest that you've taken her?
So the furthest me and Fresa have gone has been to Texas, El Paso.
Uh-huh.
El Paso, yes.
And where are you from originally? Or where
So
you?
yo soy de Sacramento. I'm from
Uh-huh.
Sacramento, born and raised,
Hmm.
nacida aquí. Pero soy mi papá es mexicano, mi mamá es
Uh-huh.
puertorriqueña. So, I have a little mix, a little mix.
Yeah. So
Uh,
your roots are you got roots, mujer. Yeah, in like different places, but that's kind of like what makes you you, you
yeah,
know. And
definitely.
so have you gone and traveled back to the motherlands?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, last year I went back. Wait, last year I went back and visited. My dad's from
Uh-huh.
Hidalgo, Mexico, and so it's like 2 hours away from La Ciudad de Mexico.
Hmm.
And I've always gone back there. I mean, I'm really rooted there, specifically where my dad's from, because since we were young, he would take us on a road trip back to Mexico. We would do the 4-day drive. He would just get us in the car and we would just go. And so that's been happening like my whole life. So, um, it's almost a routine. Like I have to go every 2 or 3 years. Like if I don't go, it's like they're like, where you're at, like te pierdes.
Yeah, it's a piece of you missing. Like
Yeah,
you feel so connected when you go back to like your roots, to where your families are from. And so you get used to, it's just part of your lifestyle. And
yeah.
so when you don't go, it just makes you miss it like so much. Um, so traveling to Mexico, what are the top three favorite places that you've gone to see?
Top three? Oh my gosh.
You could even do 5. It's up to you.
Well, I haven't been to that many. I mean,
Yeah.
okay, so I mean, I would love. I mean, I love. I went. I was able to go to Oaxaca. In 2019, I was able to go to Oaxaca, and obviously, there's so much culture there,
So
and
that's the question that I have for you for Oaxaca.
yeah,
The Guelaguetza, how do you
yeah,
say that?
yeah, Guelaguetza.
Guelaguetza.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Oh my God, that was such an experience. That was such an experience, and um, so it's a 2-week event, and it's usually the last 2 weeks of the month of July, and they're just celebrating, like they're celebrating just like the cultures. It's just a celebration of different culture, all the cultures in that city in
Mhm.
Oaxaca, and they all get together, and there's like a big, pretty much a whole week festival, and
Wow.
yeah, and one of my cousins had told me about it. She's like a travel tour guide. Um, and she's like, "Oh, well, you're out here, you should go to Oaxaca." And I was like, "Well, I would love to." And she's like, "It's this big thing." So she hyped it up, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna look into it. And I have a cousin. Most of my primas and primos out there están casados. They have kids, But I
Mhm.
have one cousin who's about my age, and he's like my traveling buddy when I go out to Mexico. His name is Ricardo, and I love him. He's actually deaf, but he's one of my cousins who I connect the most with. I mean, we're so similar in a lot of ways. I mean,
Mhm.
we're very adventurous, and I just love him to death. And I told him, I was like, "Do you want to go? Like, I'll pay, I just don't worry about it. Like, let's just go, And cause I wouldn't go alone. I don't, I'm a woman, and I just like, I mean, I would, but I didn't want to. I wanted to share that experience with someone,
With someone.
and that
Yeah.
I loved, and I knew that would enjoy it so much. And he had never been to Oaxaca, so we were like, let's go. So I looked up tickets for bus tickets, because it's like 7 hours away from
Mhm.
Hidalgo. So, we were like, let's just get on the bus and let's just go. Let's have a good time. So we got on the bus. It was like 11 o'clock in the morning at night. Like, we were in a fiesta, and like we were still like contemplating, should we go? Should we not go? But I already
Mhm.
had in my mind, like, I'm going. Like, we're just depending on what time I'm going. Like, are we going in the morning, or are we going at night?
Mhm.
And I already had everything packed, and I was like, I'm going. I don't know. Like, do you want to come? And he's like, yeah. So we got our ticket. It was like 11 o'clock. We were leaving like super early, like at 1 in the madrugada.
Uh-huh.
And so we had like 2 hours to get ready and
Those
go.
rides are always fun like that.
Oh my God, so much fun, so much fun. And like, it's just the nerves were, it was just like the buildup of the emotion of, having that opportunity to go.
Mhm.
And so yeah, we went, and it was like we got there at 7 o'clock in the morning in Oaxaca. Like, the sun was rising, and it was beautiful. And like, we rented an Airbnb, and it was just like, from the moment we got there, it was like an experience, because we didn't know where we were at. And we just started like, it was an adventure. It was like, hey, we know we're going to get lost. We know we might take a wrong turn, but that's part of the journey, right?
Right.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's how it started. And then, yeah, I mean, after that, we like got there, we ate breakfast, and then like the day started, and our adventure started. We just got dressed, and it was just like, let's start the day. I mean, why go back to sleep? It's 7 in the morning. We feel rested, and
Everybody's up, I'm sure.
everybody's up at the hustle and the bustle. And like, the first thing they gave us was like cafecito, pan dulce, nuestra frutrita. It was like amazing. Yeah,
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah,
So what is one of the things that stands out in from the Guelaguetza?
yeah. So I guess it's just like, one of the main things is like how people come together to create this experience. They so many talented people come together to create so many experiences, and they honor each other. And there's like, the arts is heavy. I mean, it's so heavy in the arts. And I mean, it's the whole city is like that. It's it's like amazing. It's truly amazing. It's full of color, it's full of food, it's full of just so much art, and it takes a lot of work. Like,
It does.
you know,
I'm sure they
it's a-
travel. I
yeah,
mean, maybe as soon as that fiesta is over, it's kind of like, okay, what can we do to make the fiesta better next year or the next time?
exactly. You know how it is organizing a big group of people, and
Hmm.
and like not for just one day, but like days
Right.
on days, and you just feel that energy. You feel the creative energy. You feel the enthusiasm. I mean, everyone's just like from head to toe done up, just with like their traditional clothing, their attire. Women look beautiful. I mean, the vestidos, everything is so inspiring. And I think it's just like the community. You feel that energy. You feel the energy of the community coming together and just building each other up, and honoring the traditions and the dances. And it just like brings chills to me right now speaking about it, because the energy is unmatched. Like, I never felt like that way. I never felt so like at home with like the creative, just like the creativeness and like the embracing of that. And like everyone has a role and no one's like, it's just beautiful.
Yeah, and that's how I feel, when I travel to Mexico. There's something, even for myself.
Mm,
So, and that's of course, the energy. You just feel the energy. So that's kind of like how I feel like when I travel to LA and go to a ceremony. But when you go to Mexico and you experience the the culture and the gente and the energy, they're just so pure and it's so humble. And like you said, the energy is, there's no way to describe, how powerful the gente will come together for the love of their culture,
mhm,
especially when you're introducing like the arts. And some people may think that, oh, because I created something, they might not think that it's art, but it really is. It's kind of like one of the natural hidden talents that we have
mhm,
within ourselves, and until we find it. But here is a group of gente that come together in a community to
mhm,
put on a fiesta, and knowing that it's energy, it's radiating, and medicina
mhm.
for the entire community. So that's very powerful. And community is so important, in that sense. So I understand, and I know that when you speak of, the energy, I just don't know how to explain it, but the energy is there,
Yes,
um, that you can feel it.
yes.
Um, so you did have, you got an opportunity to work with the Crocker Art Museum and, showcase. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I'm part of the Viewpoint Gallery here in Sacramento, and
Hmm.
it's the only photographic gallery here in Sacramento.
Hmm.
And so I got connected with them through school because I was a student at both Sac City and CRC, and I did their photography program. And so I got linked with them through school, pretty much through education, and through them I've been able to, like, they've helped showcase some of my work, and some of their some of our student work has gone up to the Crocker Museum.
Oh,
So
that's awesome.
it's been an awesome experience. I mean, it's a small community here in Sacramento, so like, to be a part of the photographic community feels really special, and it's been a great opportunity. So I've been able to showcase at the Crocker now, I believe twice. Yeah, I believe
Oh, you
twice.
had two shows already? Wow, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
and so I've been part of like a student show, obviously, and there were other students showcasing there too. So, but yeah, so I showed in 2019 and then in 2020. Yep, and yeah, so
Awesome.
it's been amazing because I feel like I've been able to represent mi gente,
Hmm.
um, on I've been able to represent my people, and it feels amazing to be recognized in your own city, and
Right.
and being able to bring like my familia, my friends, most importantly my familia, into a space where we usually don't take up much space, you know.
Mhm.
Um it's been amazing. It's been amazing to be able to bring my niece, my nephew to the museum to see, my works, and it's been an honor. And
Oh, that's awesome.
yes, it's just it's I can't explain the feeling of how it feels, to be able to bring just your family into a space where, you usually don't see people, Hispanos going there, and so it's we're venturing into new spaces and taking up space, and I feel honored. I feel really honored to
Awesome.
be a part of it.
Oh, that's awesome. So, I do have a clip of some of your artwork, so I'm going to go ahead and show it, and then we'll talk about it
Okay.
when we get back.
Yes.
Good little tune there, huh? Got you going in the
Yeah,
morning?
I'm like, yes, that's what I need to wake up.
Yeah, so that's important. Yes. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll include this one here.
Mm.
Um, so this one, where was this one taken?
So this is actually here in California,
Mhm.
and it's like about 3.5 hours away. It's in Bernie, and this is the MacArthur Bernie Falls, and I was able to go there last year for my
Mhm.
birthday, and it's a beautiful place. Obviously, yeah, it's
Awesome.
It's a beautiful place. It's one of those places where, like, I'm always looking for another place to go and just explore. And
Mm.
um, this isn't that far away from here, and that's what I feel like. It's important to explore your surroundings. I mean, not always, you can't always travel across the country, and you can't always travel, fly. Especially right now, a lot of people aren't doing that, and
Right,
so I mean, I make it my duty to find places here local, even if it's like the river, up Auburn. I make it my duty to like find these places where I can go and like be rejuvenated and be, just like get away from the everyday routine and find some inspiration, find some medicina. And yeah, this is one of those places.
and that's what the elements do. When you're out there, it it's that medicine, it's that connection. It gives you the opportunity to kind of step out of being in home all the time. And it's important, to find those little hidden local places. And, there are some around Sacramento. It's a little drive, maybe sometimes less than 15, 20 minutes away, and anything along the river, water flowing. Um,
Um, yeah.
so yeah, I really like that, the waterfalls. Let's see, I have another one here of yours.
Yeah. So this one's like back to the roots. You know,
Excuse
this
me.
this one was taken in Mexico, in Hidalgo.
Oh,
And,
in the motherland where Dad's from. See.
yep. So this was, this I always and I always end up back in the motherland, back where the roots are, and this is how thick the roots are. This is just a representation of how intertwined I feel with the land, how thick, the roots of a tree can be. And even though, we often don't admire the roots of a tree, you know, we often look up and we look at the leaves and we look at the branches and we look of the fruit of the trees, but the roots, it's what holds it down. The roots
Right.
are what holds it down. The roots are what keep it grounded. And I thought, like, where we were at, specifically, it's called Rio Progreso, and there's a river that runs through this place here, and the roots are just thick and they're coming out of the ground, as you can see here. Like, you see them above the ground, you know, and they're just massive and they're strong and they're just impactful. And that's how I feel my roots are that connected, you know, to the motherland. And yeah, that's kind of this what this picture represents to me.
Yeah. So I think of roots and grounding, and people often think about, what is it that I can do to kind of ground myself and, kind of align myself and, and reconnect. And I would say taking the time to, of course, go out in the elements, find a tree, and think about like the the qualities that a tree has,
Mhm.
and know that you can be that strong too. And I remind people that, you have to remember to like be grounded. And so roots always reminds me that it's part of within ourself that, we're able to, um, I'm not going to say transform energy, but take all our energy and kind of suppress it to where it can go down into the ground. So then you can ground yourself and you can like not be knocked over and be so kind of like everywhere. So it's just a reminder that um, that the elements, do have those strong qualities that, within yourself that you can ground yourself. So and it's always important that, never forget your roots, never forget where you came from. And so there's a symbolism there that exists that, don't forget the roots.
Exactly. Yes,
Mhm.
grounding is very important, and I think, you know, yeah, the tree represents that a lot, you know, for us. And yeah, I think, like, we so often, like you said, we so often are it's easy to, like, be all over the place, especially right now when you hear so many things going on, you know.
Mhm.
And so a lot of people, including myself, we're looking to be grounded, and it can be as simple as just like, I do it all the time, taking off your shoes, being, you know, grounded, like feeling the earth beneath you. I mean, there's like, it's known that, like, it rejuvenates you. Like, there's this chemical, like, magnetic field that happens between you and the earth, and it, like, expels all this negative energy. It expels all these negative ions that we have through like technology, you know, all these
Mhm.
different waves and frequencies, and there's so much technology all over, right? But, like, how are we getting rid of these negative ions? And a lot of people, and there's a lot of studies that say, if you just take off your shoes and feel the earth beneath you, mother will do that for you, you know.
Right.
She does it for you. You just have to believe that, you know, she can do that. And it's just like, just as simple as that.
Yeah, it's earthing, and it's connecting. Yeah, so being out in the earth and mother nature, and like you said, it's an exchange of energy, because it might be that and sometimes, even when I would go and gather, they say offer something, offer water. It was the most important thing, but sometimes it's kind of like you're exchanging your energy, whether it's it mentally. Sometimes they say like you can take a strand of your hair, because it's that you can leave in exchange if you're going to be gathering something.
Mhm.
um, so it's important, it's very important. And I think that's one of the things that I often think about. And people ask, how is it that I can heal myself? And one of the things that's, it's that exchange of, letting go of,
Mhm.
what doesn't make you feel good, and stepping into the elements, and taking a deep breath, and appreciating and touching, and taking that moment to kind of like replenish yourself.
Yes.
So being in elements is, very important and part of, healing. And like I said, even now, you don't have to travel far
Mhm.
to find the little hidden places that, it can be a walk along a trail. It can be, in the mountains. It can be along the river.
Mhm.
It can be in your backyard where, you have um, those things. I mean, and if you don't, taking a walk at the park
Mhm.
and, being able to do that. So I just think it's neat that we can do that as individuals because we know what makes us happy.
Mhm.
And being out in the elements, it's, we're humans. It's Earth, and it's kind of like I often think about, when, nomads were here. It's kind of like it was really there was no buildings, there's no infrastructure, there was nothing, and so here they are, trying to understand what's around them with the elements and how is it that we can utilize. So um, it's just really neat to do that.
Yes.
I have another one here.
Mhm. Mhm. Yes. Yes, a belief ignited. So this was actually
Just
in Oaxaca,
hmm
and this was during like the parade. Uh,
was this part of the Guelaguetza or?
yeah,
Oh,
mhm,
it was. Okay.
it's part of the Guelaguetza.
Oh,
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
And
and
look, I see he's he's like focused in what he's doing, and like the gente are like scared, but he's just like fuerte.
yes, and that's what to me was, I mean, just beautiful. I mean, and that's why I named it a belief ignited because, this boy can't be older than 12, and he has the strength of that bull right there, um, and I feel like he has such a big responsibility, and because he holds this responsibility that is dangerous, like he has to believe in himself. He has to believe that like he's very capable of doing this dangerous work,
Right.
and it isn't easy, and you can tell by his face of like the confidence, that like I believe after doing this that he gained with the confidence that he gained, um and then it's the position of the people in the background like so scared, and he's in in all white, just calm and collective and just very sure of himself,
In
even
the
though he's
moment.
on fire too.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's a very it just one of those pictures that I felt just it showed his spirit. It showed his strong spirit and yeah.
Beautiful. I can post another one here.
Yes, the golden barrel cactus. So this was on the Crocker. This was showed in the Crocker in 2018.
hmm
2018 after I went back to the motherland, Hidalgo, in 2017. And that's so to tie this back with how we are connected. I went to, we were, so this is right after I left Danza and went to Mexico.
I remember we had a conversation and you're like, look, I'm getting ready to, step away and I'm going to go travel. And I remember that conversation specifically. I was like, Danza is always going to be here. And, if you have that opportunity to go back home and visit the roots, um, that's where it's at. And so it was good to um, see you travel and, kind of, live through your experience. And so, yeah, that's pretty powerful that of all things, it went back to the roots of, and, here is a picture of, the nopal.
Yes, yes, and which is it's a beautiful. I mean, this is a very rare uh, nopal cactus, and it's almost extinct. And it's interesting because just like animals and plants also become extinct over time, and where this is in Tula in Hidalgo, and you see the one in the background. They're massive. They're huge. They're about like 4 feet. I mean, they're just like
Oh, they
massive.
are big.
Yeah, they're huge. They're just massive, and it's really rare. It's rare, when you see them. You don't really see them out here, and if you do, know that they've come directly from the motherland, And I wanted to, and after I photographed this, like I wanted to find out more about this cactus, and yeah, I realized, like, I found out that it's rare, like it's almost extinct, and it's just a beautiful, it flowers the top. Those were all flowers, but obviously they had already bloomed and died, and it's just one of those things that represent Mexico, and it represents our people, and it's just like I wanted to keep the spirit of, like, the plant alive. Like, I wanted to, like, encapsulate it, because things are animals, plants, they go extinct, because of us, because we take them for granted. And so yeah, this is one of those pictures that is very close to my heart.
It's a good reminder to appreciate the simple, yet it's very strong. It's held its presence, being that it has the thorns on it. So it's in itself, it's kind of like it's protecting itself, but at the same time, it's a reminder to us to think about the things that are elemental, simple, but think about that it's not. It's a way that you've preserved it, and so it's kind of like not everybody can travel to Mexico. Not everybody can see the things that people see. So showing that, especially even at the Crocker Art Museum, that that it's not extinct. To the point where let's continue to preserve and take care of what's there. And I think it's just a great reminder when you're, especially in your photography, that other people are kind of living through your experience, and it's a way to educate. And so, and in that sense, knowing that anything that you take a picture of, some people might know that it's very rare. And so, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
The other one is, let me
Yeah.
see.
So this is the La Casita de Maguey, and this is also in taken in Hidalgo. And
And how big is that? It looks small, but then yet it looks like big. So when
yeah,
you walk,
I mean, I would say it's about like 8 feet
hmm
tall. I mean, maybe like 20, no, maybe like 15 feet wide.
hmm
That. So, I mean, it's a humble hut, and it.
and for those that are listening, or gonna end up watching this later, what is maguey, for those that don't know?
So maguey is an agave. It's a plant. It's an agave plant, and it's what you. There's many ways of using agave or maguey, and where we're from. So it's like I'm sure you've seen agave around here, but maguey specifically, you can make. I don't know if you heard of pulque.
hmm
Yeah, so you can make it. There's a drink. There's like the
Like the
nectar.
nectar of it.
Yeah, the nectar of it. It's medicinal. They believe it's medicinal, but you can also, overdo it. You can get drunk, and pero también cocinan con la planta de maguey. También cocinan. So they do. My family, they're from Hidalgo, and they're barbacoaderos. So mi
Oh,
abuelo, yeah,
barbacoa.
yeah, they cook. Son cocineros, and they cook barbacoa, and so um tapan la carne, tapan la comida con la planta de maguey, but they use it also. I mean, back in the day, they used it to make their homes. They would dry them out and then make their homes. And um, that you don't see homes like that anymore. So where we were at like this preserve, like cave kind of reservation. And this is one of the homes that like they used to build back in the day when there wasn't like any resources. They had earth, they only had earth, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And what's interesting about that is um later on when I showed like my family, like, oh, this is, this is what I found, my abuelito told me like, oh, we had a home like not too different from what you saw and what you photographed. So um it's amazing. It's amazing of like how far my familia has come. And it was amazing for me to like, it was very humbling to know of like how we started in a way,
Uh-huh.
and to realize like a home was just like it was shelter, but it was just that. Sometimes it was, it wasn't meant for you to be inside all day because there wasn't TVs in there, there wasn't anything. It was just to keep you warm, maybe through the night, to keep you dry
Mm-hmm.
through the night, and then you would go out and do your duties outside the house, and so it was another piece of the puzzle for me to connect to my roots and where I'm from, and it just to remind myself. And I've had that photo printed in my home, so it's a reminder.
It's a reminder.
It's a homage to like my familia, where I come from, the beginning, the roots, and it's important to know that. It's important to know where you come from, because you we've come so far. Like I have such a different experience from my abuelitos to my dad's, and um you don't realize it when you grow up privileged. You
Right.
grow up privileged in these, and then here in Estados Unidos, I grew up so privileged compared to what my abuelitos and my dad did. My dad is a family of 12, so he's there was a lot of them. It was a
Yeah,
lot of,
big family.
and they come from humble beginnings, like very humble beginnings, and so like I had to go back to my roots, and I had to figure out for myself what the struggle was for my parents, my grandparents. And it was important for me to know that, because then I am grateful. I come back and I'm so grateful for what I have. And
Absolute gratitude.
gratitude is so
Ah,
important for me in my life and journey, because it's so easy to be complacent and so easy to just take things for granted and to think that it's not enough. Sometimes
right.
especially here where material things are so important in a way, in our society, capitalism is so important, and so yeah, I think for me, going always back to the roots, it's a reminder of how far we've come as a lineage, and just like be grateful
Right.
for
Absolutely.
journey. Yeah. And just be grateful for what you have and what you've been provided. And that's just that's what that represents, that picture.
That's beautiful.
Mhm.
Hi, Des. Thanks for listening. So our reader comment says, I would really like to try pulque, but I haven't been able to find any in Houston, Texas. My grandmother that raised me, mom was born in Tulancingo.
Yeah.
Um, so I have not tried pulque, and if I do, I don't remember. But I don't think I have either. Um, but I do speak of gente that oh, let's try pulque. So maybe on my adventures to Mexico that are coming up, that I'll be able to tap into a little bit. I've had mezcal, the traditional tequila, pero pulque is a little bit different. Um,
It tastes like I would say it tastes like fermented tea almost.
mhm.
Um and now they have like they infuse it with like different flavors, like nuez, and they just infuse it now with more flavor, so it's more like it's a little bit more tasty.
Mhm.
But like the more raw stuff is like very fermented, like very almost bitter, a little
Strong.
strong. It's strong,
Yeah.
yeah. But I think I tried it, and it's not something that I'm like, oh, I like it, I love it, but I mean, it's all right.
It's yeah, it's for you have to have an acquired has an acquired taste, I'm
Yeah.
sure. So here's the other one.
Hmm. Yes.
So Niña Indígena, I saw her and she was just so beautiful. Her colors, um, they're just so vibrant, and I love that. She was very stoic to where she was proud that what she was wearing,
Mhm.
and it you can feel her like strength.
Yes. Yes, and this was taken in Hidalgo, Pachuca, and I was with my cousin, and we were just like walking, and just exploring the city, and um, I came across her, and I we just I like crossed her path, and then like I stopped and I was like, I have to take a picture of this beautiful young girl, and I went back, and she was with her parents, and I asked her parents if it was okay if I could, photograph her, and I asked her, and she was like, of course, like she was so happy, and
Oh, that's beautiful.
yeah, you can tell from the photo and how proud she was of what she was wearing. And it was just one of those things like, you don't really see, here in the United States, you don't really see that representation of the like La Nina Indígena, and like especially um a brown niña indígena,
Hmm.
and how, and with that pride, that sense of pride of being, brown, and being colorful, and being indígena. And I just think she was so beautiful, and I had just had to take a picture of her, and it's just another representation of our people.
Yeah, I love it. I love that picture.
Yeah.
Another one of my favorites, Teotihuacan. So you're actually standing on the moon pyramid,
Yep.
looking at the sun pyramid.
Hmm.
Um, and I remember walking, you have to walk sideways to kind of get up the steps when you're on the when you're walking up the sun pyramid. And just the walk from even the moon to the sun period, it seems like it's short, but it is a long walk.
Hmm.
And once you're on top of there, wow, just the view is so beautiful. And it's there's like no words. And I remember taking a picture of myself even when I was there, but it was more towards the center where you actually can look down like the avenida
Hmm.
itself. But I like the side view that was taken here. Um, when you first seen the pyramids, what was your experience? What did you think when you first seen them?
um I mean, wow, right? Like, just
Absolutely.
I was astonished. I was astonished, and so this was taken back like in 2017 when when I left for 3 months, and um this this is like the second time I had been there. The first time with my dad when I was younger, and obviously like I remembered it, but I didn't, like, when you're young, you don't really realize like how important, and how impactful this monument is,
Right.
and like I did the tour, like we had like a tour guide because I wanted to know more. Like I wanted to feel connected. I wanted to know why, what pyramid was what, and what did it represent to them. And so I was with my partner at the time, and it was his first time being in Mexico, and first time experiencing this. And it was an amazing journey to feel so connected, and in a sense of a belonging and pride to be there, and it felt like, you feel so small when you're there. You
Oh,
feel
yeah.
small, you feel tiny, and but then it also makes you feel like a part of something so much bigger than yourself.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like you feel it doesn't feel like it's real, but once you're in there, you're like, this is like real. And
real.
like I'm here. And especially when you stand on top of the sun pyramid, um, I remember the small little rocks
Mhm.
that are like black, and it looks like they've been placed there like individually, and I remember that. And it's always clear to me, even as I envision like literally, like you either have to step really really high or you have to step sideways to get there.
Yeah.
And so it is a powerful, the energy is there. I've always wanted to visit it on the spring equinox.
Mhm.
And they say that danzantes gather there in the
Mhm.
spring equinox, and it's just full of danzantes. And so one of my bucket list things would be to go back to Teotihuacan. Absolutely.
Yes.
Is
Well, let me know when you're going because I'm signing up for that too. I would love to be there. Yes, that was
Yes.
an amazing experience for sure. Just to
Yeah.
be there and feel that energy.
Hmm.
I would love, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see. I have a few more of your photos here. So the news aren't new.
Yeah.
So I kept looking at this picture and I was trying to figure out, I was like, is it like close to him? But his hands are like as if he's like reading it.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit more about this one.
So this photo, yeah, so this photo was actually taken like in the backyard of my house, and my partner helped me create this photo, which was like a very scary experience. Obviously, because you're playing. He was very close with fire, and even though he had like protection on his face and he had eye goggles and stuff like that, it was still kind of frightening. But yeah, just this photo just represents like you know it just says news aren't new, and the world has always been a chaotic place, and it's always been you know about destruction and about rebuilding, and I think that's just like this what this photo represents. When you look at in the news or the newspaper, you're guaranteed to find something going on, like something negative. There's always something
Yeah,
negative. There's always some fear, and this photo represents like you know if you it's
it's
kind of
kind of like those one of those burn and turns, and that's what it reminds me of. Like it's like the news is here, you're reading it, and then something that you're reading is either on fire, and it's going to spark other people's interests, or it's going to spark and nobody's going to pay attention to it. So that's kind of like how I see and perceive it. The other thing would be is that, you know as simple as we see the news, it's also, we can turn it off. So we can turn fire and then we can turn off fire. And
Mhm,
one of the things that I quite often ask is, how do I not let things in the outside, whether it's news or social media, affect me, like my mood or the way I feel? And it's just as simple as, and I see your picture, as putting out fire. When you
mhm,
no longer want to see it and you no longer want it to live in your reality, then you just put out the fire. Otherwise, your thoughts are going to kind of be engulfed and inflamed like
mhm.
the fire.
Yep, exactly. Yeah,
Awesome.
exactly. That
That's an awesome picture. Um, and then here's the last, I think this is the last one here.
yes.
Entonces, War on Love. I got a
Mhm.
chance to take a look at this one, and I was really just trying to figure out um, what I was trying to figure out the symbolism, and then until I read the title of it, I was like, okay, I
Mhm.
I I get it. Um, so explain that one a little bit more.
So yeah, so this War on Love, it just it was during a time. I mean, this was last 2019, 2019. Yeah, this was one that was on the Viewpoint Gallery, and it's just, it represents like the history that we've been told from the beginning of times. And there's always been war, and there's always been war on love, because, you know, there's always been war with each other. And so that's just, it just brings back to like our society. It's just like a mirror to our society,
Hmm.
the American society of, there's always this pull and tug, and there's always this like romanticism with war, and romanticism with like fighting and being, in chaos. There's this romanticism that we've been told from the beginning of our time, from history, from the beginning of history books.
Hmm.
There's always war on love. It's always war on love.
Yeah, because it kind of seems like the let's say the system is built to where it's ruled by individuals, but it's also remembering that we don't have to live in a place or in a society where we feel so entrapped and and feel like we're not wanted, because at the end of the day, you really think about what is it that I'm doing in my life that's given me love, and what is it that I'm doing to kind of bring and share love around us. And love is a powerful thing.
Mhm.
And when you have love and you have compassion, it brings community together. And when that happens, then movements and movimientos start to happen.
Yeah.
And that's where, love is kind of overpowering and fighting, the negative forces, that be. And it's just a very powerful image that you had there. And so, um, because you're an artist, I would really like to have gente come and, capture and follow you. And so, um, those of you that are listening, tuning in, let's go ahead and give Tina a follow, and that way you can capture some of her art. I always love your photos, the energy that you take, and you've placed yourself in places and situations where it's just simple beauty, and it can be just as simple as that. And as I was scrolling through some of your through your feeds, I remember seeing that Earth Day is every day.
Mhm.
And I think it's a great reminder to know that it doesn't have to be um, Earth Day one day. It can be Earth Day every day for you, because everything is elemental.
Yeah.
Anything that say and do, it's always interacting with the elements. And so I think it's very important. So if there's one piece of information that you can give to other inspiring photographers or artists, um, be it that they're beginning or have been in it for a long time, what is something that you can share with them that you've learned in your journey, for them to continue to do so?
Mm, I would say like, um, there's this quote that I have always near my desk, and it says like, no matter how long it takes, no matter how many times you fail, you must always start over. And that's just what it is. I think for me, it's, some days you might not feel inspired, some days you might not feel creative, and we as creative, we often feel that way, and
Hmm.
get. I know for me, I get sometimes in a rut, and then I feel like I'm not doing enough, or like, I need to put out content, and I'm not being as productive. But you always just have to keep going, even when you have hit that wall, even if you feel like, I'm not good enough, because we're human. We often feel these ways, we feel like, oh,
Right.
especially with social media, there's so much content out there being pushed. It's easy to feel like, compare yourself and feel like you're not good enough. And so always, always, always remind yourself to get back up, to do it. Just push yourself to do it, even if it's not good. Like, no one starts off being great at anything. I mean, yeah, there's
Right.
natural born talent people. I'm not going to take that, but even those people have to work hard. Even those people
Yeah.
have to continue to, sharpen the iron, and that's what it's about. Just continue to sharpen your iron and create the life that you want, even if you have those moments of failure. Those moments are teaching you something. There's teaching you a lesson.
It's a lesson. Absolutely.
You have to learn. It's a lesson you have to learn, and none of us can escape, failure. And often we associate fear and failure, and it's just, you have to overcome failure, and by that, and you do that by being resilient, getting back up and doing it and facing it.
And I think that's part of like the self-love. It's that journey. Every time, I make a choice, or any time that anyone else makes a choice, we always think about that choice is best for me. It's based on my values, it's based on my desires, it's based on my integrity. And it takes time to create a habit, and know that you're not out there by yourself, trying to figure out things, just life in general. And it's remembering to carve out time, to be loved, and know that the time that you're taking to create, whether it's content for yourself, or help others create, or to inspire others, know that it's powerful in itself. And it's remembering, anything and anywhere you're at, you have to remember that anything that you're doing is something for yourself. And then when you're doing things to make yourself good or feel good, then that kind of resonates through others. So I think it's just very important.
Yes.
And so before we end, just a couple of, quick questions. What is your favorite candy?
My favorite candy? Oh, okay. So interesting enough, I'm not like a big sweet girl, but I am a salty girl. So I'm like, I don't have a specific candy. I mean, obviously I love Mexican candy, but Mexican candy and salty. So that's, you know what I mean?
Yes.
That's why I'm not a sweet tooth. I'm a salty tooth. So I love like paleta de mangos, like anything
Like salty chile.
salty chile. I'm Mexican, like that's my Mexican side coming out because I love salty chile. But so yeah, I would say
Good.
any Mexican candy, really, pretty much that has chile on it.
All right. And so your favorite, I would say 2 dishes, just because I know you love food.
Oh my
I mean,
god,
but who doesn't?
2 dishes. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay, so I have to say, so one is my mom's arroz con gandules. She's Puerto Rican and she makes the best arroz con gandules, best Puerto Rican rice ever.
Oh,
And then I would say for my like on my Mexican side, it has to be like, I mean, who doesn't barbacoa? Like I
right.
love barbacoa. Like, oh, like yeah, I don't think I can ever be vegan because every time I go back to Mexico, like I'm gonna eat barbacoa.
It
Like,
gets ruined.
yeah, like
Otherwise you're just eating tortillas, frijoles, chile, rice.
yeah, exactly.
Okay, and if you could travel to any place in the world, where would it be?
Um, any place in the world. So I have a calling to go east. Like I'm like far east, like in Asia, India. I have like India and Asia. It's like one of the places that I know I'm gonna visit in this lifetime.
Hmm.
Because of culture. I mean, I love countries that have rich culture, and I just love the food. I love Indian food. I need like just like a bunch of like spices and like I feel like Indian food kind of resembles Mexican food with that. They like it spicy
Uh-huh.
too, and they have so many different dishes, simple with pop. Oh my god, I can go on and on and on and on.
I know, it's so good.
Yeah,
Yay.
India for sure. India is one of those places that I would love to visit. But yeah, Asia for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to come and join me and, just talk about love and art and your photography and your journey. And, it's an honor, and I'm truly humble for your presence. I ask Creator to guide you and protect you on your journey, to continue to give you strength, to you and your loved ones. I'm going to close and play your video again of your photos that I put together, and then we'll close it up from there.
Yes, I want to say thank you so much. Muchas gracias. Thank you for holding this space for people like myself and people like you. And it's so
Thank you.
important. It's so important what you're doing. I love it. I love you.
Oh,
And
I love you too.
I feel so connected to you. I mean, I really do. You know, every time I see you, I'm like, please bless me, because I feel your energy is so transformative, and you're such a powerful, strong woman.
Oh,
And
thank you.
you're inspiring, and thank you so much. I love you, and blessings to you and your family.
Thank you. So thank you everybody for listening in. We will catch you next Saturday, always at 6 a.m. With an amazing new guest, and we'll go ahead and enjoy the pictures that Tina took.
Yes.